Welcome to another episode of The Shredded Show. We're here today with my man, Jeremy. Today, we're going to take you through the 5 key factors for you to lose weight post-lockdown. A lot of people have been putting on, obviously, weight with a stressful situation, not knowing how to train, not knowing how to work out. And the average weight gain in the UK for someone during this coronavirus outbreak has been around 5 kilos. So, interestingly, on Shred Nate, people on average lose around 8 kilos in 8 weeks, just to give you some stats on how much weight you can actually lose and get rid of that and more very quickly. But today what we're going to do is we're going to take you through 5 keys that you really need to focus on to get rid of this weight. The first one we really want to focus on here is having a goal. So if, for example, you have put on, as we said there, 5 kilos perhaps over the 12 to 15 weeks of lockdown, however long it's been for you, have some clarity in terms of like, okay, where do I want to be in 8 to 12 weeks time? Like, what do I want to look like? Do I want to try and get rid of the weight and get back to where I was before lockdown? Do I want to try and beat that and become my best? And like, I would have a clear vision of like, what do I want to look like? And how do I feel when I look in the mirror now? And how do I want to feel when I look in the mirror in 12 weeks time? I think having goal setting and a clear journey from that's really, really important. Have you got anything you'd add in there specifically for goals that you find helpful, Jeremy?
Yeah, I think you've hit the nail on the head with that, because that needs to be number one, because we've all heard the old saying, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. But before you can prepare, you need to have a vision of what it is that you want to prepare to do. So if you don't know what you want to look like or what your goal is, even if it's not a physical goal, if you just want to get healthier, if you want to train for a marathon, whatever it might be, you have to know what you're training for, because otherwise you're just going to walk around. You're not really going to know what to do. And it's impossible to make a plan if you haven't got a specific goal in mind that you want to try and achieve.
I'm saying it's like, how are you going to get there if you don't even know where you want to go in the first place?
Yeah. If you don't know what the destination is, how can you plan the journey?
Again, that's where, and like we probably won't sit now because I imagine a lot of people have probably gone backwards during lockdown, but like you see the same people in the gym all the time and they all look the same because there's never any progress, because they don't have a clarity of like, okay, this is where I am now, this is where I want to go. How am I going to get there? And what are the roadblocks in the way that's stopping me doing that at the moment? And that's the reality of what you need to work out is like, okay, I want to try and lose, say, 6 kilos. I want to do that over the next 12 weeks. These are the 3 roadblocks in the way. Like I struggle for time. I've got a stressful job and I don't know what I should be eating. So like, say those are 3 roadblocks. Those are the 3 things you really need to try and find a solution for. And that's what myself and Jeremy do. So if you need help with that, drop us a message. We'd love to help. The second point and a key factor for you getting the results you're looking for once you have a clear goal is having accountability and support network. Because like the reality is, like after a week or 2 of you start a new diet, a lot of people will find that their progress starts to slow and they're like, oh, I've had enough, just throw in the towel. Like, do you see that a lot, Jeremy?
100%. And I know you do as well, Charlie, but even at the stage that we're at, we get coaches for all different aspects of our life. I still get coaches in terms of training, in terms of nutrition. I know you do as well, because we want to learn. But most importantly, it's the accountability. And if coaches sometimes struggle to stay accountable to themselves, then how can we expect that Joe Public can do it?
100%. And it's one of those things, it's like people don't realize the importance of having a support network and someone to get a second opinion on things, because like throughout the journey of like losing weight and creating the body you want, like there's always gonna be times when you get led astray or like your confidence might start to lack. And that's really where you need to try and focus and get like clarity with where you want to go with stuff and have that foolproof idea in your head, which sort of like brings me through to the next point, which is the importance of having like structure and an actual program that works. Because if you've got accountability and you've got confidence in knowing that the system and the process that you're doing is going to work, then like it's foolproof. It's that simple. Because as long as you know you're prepared to do what it takes to get results, which is relatively straightforward, the right approach, and you've got a foolproof system you know works with confidence, you will have the confidence in yourself and the process to get the end result you're looking for. And it really, really is that simple. Like we've all done things before, like say for this is random. So like, for example, like putting together furniture. Like this is completely off topic. I'm really bad at like DIY and putting stuff together. So I don't believe in the process of me doing that. So I'll get someone else to do it. But like, if you have something that you believe in 100% and it will work, you can commit to it wholeheartedly, and then you will get the results you want. Have you got any other situations in your life, you've got anything like that you maybe struggle with and struggle to like believe in yourself in the process with?
There's I was trying to think of stuff when you were giving your example, but I can't think of anything that springs to mind. However, I take the exact same approach as you, Charlie, particularly if I know it's gonna take me ages to do something, but yet I can pay someone that's gonna get it done in like a third of the time, then for me it's a no-brainer to invest in that person, because they're going to save me a heap load of time, a heap load of ag, and probably a few injuries.
And the big thing, like we haven't even talked about here, with having importance of having a structure and a proven program that works, is actually the time you're going to save. So like, not like, there's two things we can look at here. So there's one of the time of you getting from where you are now to where you want to be, like that will speed up like exponentially, because all the guesswork will be removed. So you'll get to your end goal like 1,000% faster. So that aside, but then we can also look at, in terms of from a training and nutrition point of view, the amount of time you're not pissing around wasting doing workouts that aren't productive, eating the wrong foods, like that time like builds up. And in reality, the most valuable thing we have in life is time. So like, you being organized and knowing that what you're doing is working and is time efficient is more valuable than anything.
100%. So the two trigger points for me when I first ever got a coach was time and knowledge. I kind of felt like I'd got to a stage where I thought I'd tried everything. I wasn't getting to where I wanted to get to. It'd already taken me too long to not get the results that I wanted. And so I was like, well, I might as well now hire someone who knows what they're doing and who's going to get me there a lot quicker than if I was trying to carry on spinning my wheels and staying where I am.
100%. You're just leveling up faster. And that's like the way I look at things in life. It's like, it's a big old game of like skill acquisition. I don't know if anyone used to play, I used to play Call of Duty when I was like 18. And it's probably why my A levels were so terrible. I was like prestige twice or whatever that means, where you basically like level up so many times. Yeah, a bit of a nerd day back then. But like, that's the way I look at life now, is like acquiring skills constantly to keep leveling up and see how much I can learn to keep improving. And the fastest way to do that is learning from people who have the answers of what you want. That you like, in reality, you can find anything you want on the internet, but it's an overwhelm of poor information. So like, seeking clarity and taking out the guesswork will save you a lot of time and money in the long run.
100%. I wish I'd started getting coaches long time ago.
Like 16.
100%.
I actually like, this just reminds me, I remember my mum saying to me at the time when I think when I first went to the gym when I was like 16, 17, she's like, oh, do you want me to get you like a trainer or someone to help you? I was like, nah, I know what I'm doing. Like, shelve that, like egotistical, like 17-year-old. I don't even show me what to do.
Throwing the instruction manual out the window. Don't worry about that. I'll figure it out.
Yeah, so, yeah, that's probably why my DIY is so bad. That's a fact. That's also probably why my spin bike I put together squeaked a bit, because I didn't really look at the instructions. The next point we're going to come on to is something that I struggle with, and I think everyone in the world does, and that's patience and being realistic, because we all want the world tomorrow, but like, the reality is everything is a process. And then the fastest way, as we said, to you to get to where you want to be and like speed up the process is with having the right like guidance and structure, but things will take time. Like, if you've got 20 kilos of fat to lose, for example, you're not going to be able to get six pack in 8 weeks or 12 weeks. Like, that's just a fact, because you can't lose that much weight that quickly in a healthy manner, which is not going to be just shit in every aspect of your life. So that's something I think I see is probably the most common thing. And the other thing I think people get frustrated with is like comparison syndrome. So like, me and Jeremy get this all the time in terms of people see other clients' results that we get from people that are like insane, and they're like, oh, like one of them, my client Andre from Sweden, in like 11 months went from like being pretty fat to looking like a Swedish version of Thor. And everyone's like, oh, I want to do that. But I was like, yeah, this guy had sick genetics, but just had a really shit lifestyle before and never clue what he was doing. And then like, he also has the like perfect environment in terms of not a lot of stress, like an easier life for him to like really focus on these things. And he was very religious with everything. And one of the things we spoke about, like myself and Jeremy actually before this podcast, was that like, everyone can get to where they want to be and enjoy going out the weekend, drinking, having food and stuff, but that will slow your progress down. So like you have to be okay with understanding that. Like that's cool, and that's something we want to make this a lifestyle. But then you can't expect to have 100% results if you're only really willing to do 75% of the commitment. Like the results will come, but it will just take a little bit longer. And like that's something like you experienced yourself personally, Jeremy.
Yeah, it really is. So a few years ago, maybe 3-4 years ago, I went from off season to absolutely shredded in about 16 weeks, because similar to your client Andre, I had the perfect environment to do so. I had like zero stress. I was in control of all my food. I was able to do my cardio whenever I wanted. So I could do it first thing in the morning, and then I could go train, and everything just slotted perfectly into place. But that's very rare in life that you get that. And for example, last year, when I went from off season to get absolutely shredded, it took me 6 months because I had so much other stuff going on in my life that I couldn't always control what I was eating or do the cardio that I wanted to do or get my activity levels up. And it took me 6 months. So it took me a lot longer than it did 3-4 years ago at that, when everything was perfect. I got there in the end, but because there were other stuff that I had to prioritize, it just took a little bit longer. And it's not a bad thing. You know, it depends what the lifestyle that you want to maintain. Life gets in the way sometimes. You will get to your goals with the right guidance, but you just have to appreciate that sometimes certain things in your life and certain things that you choose to do will just delay the process slightly. So long as you accept that fact, then it's all good.
100%. And to finish things up on this podcast episode as a positive, the fifth thing I want to say in terms of like the key factor for you to get results is reward yourself at the end of the process. So for me, like if I'm going through like a cutting phase, I always like to have a holiday or something like that where I know like awesome, I can go really enjoy myself on the beach. I'll be jacked and shredded shape. I can eat loads of food and I'll still be in really good shape. And like that is really, really important to make sure you reward yourself. Even if it's not going on a holiday, like cool, you don't want to travel with what's going on at the moment. Like maybe reward yourself to some new clothes, like whatever's important to you, reward yourself at the end of it, because it's really important. You need to celebrate the big wins. And like Jeremy mentioned that one of his clients got 2 PBs on bench press, and he was like, "Oh, I think I'm gonna pop open the champagne." And like, what was it you said to me? You should definitely do it.
Yeah, so I asked him, I was like, "Oh, what are you going to have for dinner afterwards to reward yourself?" And he was like half jokingly, because he does love his wine and his champagne. He was like, "Oh, I might open a bottle of champagne." And I was like, "No, seriously, you should." I was like, "This is a huge win for you. This was one of your goals for like the last probably 12 months to get to where we are now. And it's a massive achievement. So hell yeah, reward yourself. Crack open the champagne."
So finishing note, I'm putting a bottle of champagne in my bag now for next PB. We recommend that to everyone there. Don't drink the whole thing at once and then drive home. But so to wrap this up, guys, these are the 5 key points that I really want you to think about when you're trying to lose weight, and like the key factors you want to think about. So firstly, is have a goal. Secondly, it's having accountability and support network. Thirdly, having structure and a proven program that works. Fourthly, being patient and being realistic. And then fifth, once you win, reward yourself, because that's very, very important. If you need help with this and you want any guidance to give you results, speed and clarity, hit the link below to apply to work with myself and Jeremy. Or if you want to join Shred8 and Sculpt8, just £37 a month, you can hit the link below there and get involved. If you have any other questions, let us know. And please, please, please share this to your stories if you found the podcast helpful.